What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Introduction to Python tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about a very important concept known as input. So what exactly is input? Well, input is a way for the user to interact with the computer program by providing it with information or perhaps selecting an answer out of a set of options. Essentially, it's the way that the user is able to give input to the computer. So, without further ado, let's learn how to program input in Python. The way we're going to do it in this tutorial series is very simple. Let's just start out by learning how to record input. So in order to receive input and store it so it can be used, the first thing you need to do is create a variable. How are we doing this? We're going to create a variable called myInput, just like that. Now we have a name and we're going to assign it a value. Here's where the new syntax comes in that you guys might not be familiar with. If we know that we are receiving input, what we do is we write input, and then we have our parentheses, and then in these two quotes that we put inside the parentheses, we can put a prompt. What exactly is a prompt? Well, let's say my program requires the user to answer a question, and my question is, how old are you? How old are you? That question right there is the prompt. And then whatever the user types in next to the prompt is the input. So let's, sticking with that example, let's type how old are you? And then we can put a colon and a space. And now what we should see is if we run this program, oh, I see, my bad. Seems we have a mistake up here from a previous tutorial. I was copying and pasting some stuff earlier, and looks like I forgot those quotes right there. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, we're back. We fixed that. Don't forget your quotes, guys. Don't do what I did. So we're operating down here by the tutorial 5. As you can see, the computer automatically prompts, how old are you? And then I have the ability to type right here. And I can type anything. I could type 5 million, or I could type I could type a word. It's not restricted to a number. It's just whatever the user inputs. And so I could say hello, which is obviously not an answer to the question, how old are you? But it is something that you can do, like this. And if I wanted to then check to see what I stored. So if I wanted to read out this input, since we stored the input in the variable myInput, we can print myInput. We can print myInput just like that. That should be the trick. You hit start, and then just say test maybe, and there we go, test. Now here's something you'll notice. Even if I do type in a number here, let's run the program again. Even if I proceed to type in a number, like 500, when the computer stores 500, it actually stores it as a string variable. And so if I now wanted to say myInput plus 10, we would get errors. And this is because a string cannot be added to 10. That is not legal. So we should see the computer is not happy. Just like that. So what happens if we need an input of a number that we can manipulate and do mathematical calculations with? Well, there's a quick fix to this, and essentially we need to tell the computer, listen, I know you're getting a string from the input, but I want you to, if possible, convert that string into a number. And the way we do this is very simple. All we have to do is put int and then parentheses around the entire term. And now, what the computer should understand is that after it prompts this and receives an input, it should do its best to convert that input into an integer value, and then mathematical operations can be done with that input, which is stored in the variable myInput. Now, there's one thing to note with this. In the event that you accidentally type in a non-number, like hello, or you hit a period just by accident, or a colon or something, the computer is going to get very confused, your program is going to crash, and it won't be pretty. So try and avoid doing that. So let's go ahead and close this out, and then let's run again. Make sure things are looking good. So let's do 10, and we should see the output of 20, just like that. Because now that we stored our input as an integer, the computer was successfully able to add 10 right here and print out 20. Now I just want to show you guys what exactly happens if we type in an invalid input. So let's just type in, there we go, hit enter. Oh boy, looks like it didn't work. So those are just some things to note. Now you have a fundamental understanding of input, how to obtain it, how to work with integer input, what to do with strings, and happy programming. Thanks for watching, and see you next tutorial.